Welcome, everyone. We're joined tonight by Amanda Zackem. She is a medical intuitive, and we're going to be talking about how the spirit is equally a part of the medical system as any physical part of our body. The session that we'll be doing is about moving energy into our bodies and looking around to see where the source of any problems are and how to heal those issues and bring them into the body. Pain in the body is stemming from a pattern, according to Amanda's practice. And the question that we try to get towards answering is, how can we heal that patterning? Amanda was in film and photography for 14 years, and after an onset and relapse of a health crisis, she was guided into a different career path. And she now advocates for spiritual healing and energy healing becoming a normalized part of her healthcare dialogue. She is still active as an artist and is also a medical intuitive, reverend, medium, and spiritual counselor. She is creating intuitive art and runs a practice for medical intuition and healing called North Node North Node Holistic. And I believe Levi might post periodically her website in the chat if anyone's interested to check out some more info about Amanda. But that's sort of a very brief overview, but she's obviously got a much more detailed history here. Amanda, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. My first question for you is that you've mentioned to me that you primarily work with energetic bodies, whereas some medical intuitives go directly into the physical body. Can you talk to me about how that works?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I just want to say thank you for being here. This is awesome and amazing, and I'm super pumped. So medical intuition, really, a lot of medical intuitives go right into the physical body. They'll see like your thyroid is glowing or it's grayed out and this needs to be healed. When this all opened for me, which came through a massive health crisis, which brought me into a space of extreme suffering, which then opened this, this started opening for me. And when this got going, I realized that I wasn't being guided into the physical body. I wasn't seeing like, the thyroid grayed out and then told how to heal it. I was being guided outside of the body, the physical body, into the energy bodies. And I was being shown kind of like patterns and pathways, so light pathways for the source of wounding or suffering. So that would be like, my knee hurts, where is it? And then I, as a medium and medical intuitive, go into the session, kind of get guided around. I am a trance medium, so that's TRANCE. So I move in session. And from that point, so by energy bodies, it's the spiritual body, the emotional body, the mental body, and then I sometimes get shown, guided into the 11 light bodies of consciousness to just see where things are sourcing from. And then from that point forward, in the session with me, if the person is ready to heal it, I'm shown the patterning source. So what that looks like is that this is the knee pain. Here's the pathway of how it's what's causing it, and then the patterning, what the person is doing or has brought in from a past incarnation, depending on your belief system, and what that looks like. And then I'm guided how to heal that. So the type of medical intuitive that I am is that I rarely go into the physical body. I think I've been guided into it maybe twice in the entire time I've been doing this. And then meaning like the source of suffering is pretty much always sitting outside the physical body. By the time it's reaching the physical body, we have not gotten a memo from the universe. And so that's kind of how I operate. Everyone, like, any type of medical intuitive, medium, we're all different. We work differently. Same like going to a doctor. You go to a doctor and one does something, another does something else. So, yeah.
Can you talk about how the medical intuition that you practice is different than, say, going to a doctor or doing yoga or Reiki or?
Right. Well, it's definitely different than going to a doctor. I am not a doctor. But yeah, energy healing is energy healing. So if you go to a craniosacral therapy session, myofascial release, Reiki, and theta, and everything else, it's all energy. Yoga, it's energy. In a medical intuitive session, it's really specific, very specific actually. And I'm using my mediumship abilities to see, smell, see different pathways. Sometimes I'm shown scenes, past incarnations, sometimes messages come through. I never really know what's going to show up. Colors, animals, you name it. It's probably happened. And the way this opened for me was just through it's been a learning experience through, what it started opening and it didn't stop. So basically that's the difference. I mean, I'm not saying that if you're in a craniosacral therapy session, the person can't be a medium and tapping in. Of course they can. This is just very specific. Like if you go to a medical intuitive session, the person is doing mediumship as well as energy healing.
Cool. And so, I've done a one-on-one session with you, but we're obviously in a much larger group right now. Can you talk a little bit about how that would differ, doing this in a group setting versus one-on-one, which is what you ordinarily do?
Yeah, well, I mean, if I'm working one-on-one with a client, I'm working one-on-one with the client. So I'm seeing their energy body, I'm seeing what they have brought in, what they're carrying, and it's really specific. So in a group setting, it's going to be a little bit different. I'm just holding really strong intention. I know everybody here is a creative of some kind, so we're aiming for divine feminine. Let's move some blocks. I'm just kind of doing it as a group medical intuitive session. So that's just going to be more, I am a trance medium. So if anyone sees me, I sometimes move around or twitch. It's just going to be like a collective instead of a specific one-on-one experience, which would be much more detailed. But I hold the intention for energy to go exactly where it needs to go in your body, mind, and spirit to help you heal for your highest and best. And I also hold the intention of going as deep as you will allow. So, let's clear it out. We got time's moving, right?
Very cool. So I want to talk briefly about what everyone can do right now, because we're about to get into a very brief kind of window into what you do and do a brief session. What can everyone do to set up their physical space and get their mind ready for what we're going to do?
Well, something that I do before all my sessions with any client is I ask people to check in where they are physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I like to get people to just tap in, like, are you tired? Is your mind going nonstop? Do you feel connected to something greater than yourself? Do you feel disconnected? Do you feel emotionally challenged? Are you depressed? Are you feeling stressed? Are you feeling great? And then I also like to ask every client what your intention is, because it really brings, it makes it very personal. Like, this is what I'd like to heal, that's just really important. I think that the intention, if you really are like, I don't want to do any of these 4 questions this person is asking me to do, I ask you to just at least find your intention or intentions and kind of bring them into your being, that this in the next 12 minutes is what you would like to heal or let go of. And so this is not a guided meditation. This is basically what I'm asking everybody to do is find a cozy spot where you feel really comfortable, where you can go inward and just take 3 deep breaths. I don't do this in unison because I think people can find those breaths on their own. Just slow, deep breaths, and then really go in and find that space. You can close your eyes, you can take a nap if you want, go into your mind's eye. If some of you are highly empathic, you'll know exactly where to go. And this will be an experience for you. So, and then on my end, I'm just gonna be sending energy, seeing if there's anything that needs to go, be removed, not removed colors. It will be an experience. So it's really just relax. If none of this made sense to you, just relax for 12 minutes. Listening to, it's a Kundalini mantra. It's called the Adi Shakti. It's by Ajit Kar. It is for the divine feminine creative life force energy. Does anybody sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. Yeah, I was going to just mention I posted a link in the chat so you can read more if you're curious about the specific mantra, and also a link to the music. We're going to play the music over Zoom, but if you want to listen to it on your own at any point afterwards, or if it doesn't sound good on your end, then just mute us for the 12 minutes of the mantra, and you can listen to it on your end. But we'll be playing the audio over Zoom live for everyone to do this at the same time. And we encourage you to leave your camera on if you want to, and if you're more comfortable turning it off, you can. But Amanda, did you want to talk for a quick sec about how that's going to look, on your end with everyone else?
I mean, I say do whatever you feel. That's really the most important. Get comfortable. If you're not comfortable, it's not the point. We want you comfortable. For me, I'm just going to mute. I'm going to leave my camera on. Hopefully you're all zoned out and zoned in, but if you see me, I might be twitching, I might be moving. Just kind of go with it. It's part of the Amanda experience. Welcome to my life.
And is it okay to close our eyes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, think meditation, everybody. I think everybody has some kind of understanding of meditation. Close your eyes, lay down, just, be peaceful. I would say stay off your phone if you feel inclined to do phone. Just really 12 minutes, no distraction. You got this. I know you can all do this.
It's harder said than done these days, right?
I know you can do this. I have faith in you, Jonathan. You got this.
All right. Without further ado, I'm going to share the audio right here, and we'll get right into it. So I'm going to mute my microphone. Everyone else, please mute your mics if you're not already muted, and we'll hear the mantra for a little while. Welcome back, everybody. All right. At this point, I'd like to open this up to a little bit of a discussion and Q&A. I certainly have a lot of questions for Amanda, and I could go on for a while, but I'm curious if anyone, in the group who's joined us today has any questions about what just happened, wants to relate any experience, whether it was revelatory or the opposite, non-revelatory is fine too. And any questions you might have for Amanda, you can put the questions in the chat, or if you want to raise the Zoom hand, we can spotlight you, whatever might be comfortable for anyone in the group. Anyone have any questions or want to share an experience or thought? Okay, quiet group today. Oh, okay, Laura Siskin Fernandez. I'm going to spotlight you for a second. Okay. Hello, Laura. Oh, you can unmute yourself. No? Oh. 1 second. Levi, do you know if there's a way that...
There we go.
Awesome, thank you.
Hi, thank you so much for hosting this. This was such an unexpectedly beautiful experience. Yeah, in the beginning, as usual, it kind of took me a while to not keep adjusting my body. And then I think there were like some memories that were popping in and out. And I was just trying to not judge anything and be like, all right, that, those are recurring memories that I'm probably holding. But then out of nowhere, it was kind of like what you said about it could be an animal or it could be this or that. And for me, it was like this fairy dressed in white that just had this bright light and it was twirling in the air and kind of like nothing could touch it. And for me, it just felt like the best way to protect your heart or your light is to just keep shining it and not worry about how, it's always nice if it affects someone positively, but not to worry about other people's judgments and to just keep going. So that was, yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
I feel relieved.
Good.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
A lot lighter.
Good. Yay. Happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. All right. We have 2 questions in the chat, Amanda. I'm just going to read them off to you.
Okay.
The first is from Sarah. She says, does the energy that you see or feel during your sessions have color?
It really depends. It's really specific. It just depends on what the person needs. And sometimes I see it, sometimes it's through my inner knowing, sometimes I feel it intensely because I am a trance medium. Sometimes I have a spirit literally in my body and I'm in a space of partial trance and I'm moving around by way of me not moving my body. It's an interesting experience. So color, sometimes, it doesn't always come in as color, I guess, to answer your question. It's whatever is needed in the specific area. What was interesting about this group experience was that, so it was a lot of collective energy, but there were a couple people that I was guided to specifically. I don't have your names, my eyes were closed. It was just going off of energy that needed to have healing. One was for like massive, felt like sadness, like in the heart in this area. And then this other person, it was like extraordinary stress, it felt like. But what was interesting is that I was guided specifically to these 2 people. And then because they were willing to heal and release, then that energy could be transferred to all of you. So it was kind of an interesting thing because, I don't often do massive group sessions like this. So it was pretty interesting to see how that collective energy, like one person heals, everybody heals. That was made pretty clear from this. So that I just share in case that was interesting to anyone.
That's very interesting. There was another question from Tia. Greetings from Canada. Amanda, you mentioned in your opening about animals relaying messages. I had a dream or vision of a wounded bear that has been calling me. Can you shed some light on that? Thank you. Peace.
Okay, I see that. You know, it's really, I will say, unless I sit down with you and tap in, and just really, because the way I go in, it's like I go into a space of partial trance. It's kind of hard to navigate because so for example, if a bear comes up in a session, I then as a medium have a pathway of like interviewing. Are you an emotional bear? Are you a literal bear? Does the person hate bears? And then from that questioning, I get more comes like yes, no, and then you go to the next, which then allows me to find the specific answer, which is I like to answer people in detail. So I hesitate to go into that now, but bears are really powerful, amazing creatures with incredible energy. It's a positive sign. I would do some like intuitive Googling and see how that works. And, you know, if you are interested in exploring that more, we can chat outside of the group experience.
Julie had a question and then sort of also an answer. She says, I enjoyed the music very much. I'm curious what you were feeling throughout the process. You talked about it a little bit. Maybe you could go slightly deeper into that.
I mean, I don't know if anyone had their eyes open, but I get pulled around. So my head is moving. It feels like a pendulum. It feels like a magnet is literally yanking me in certain areas. Same with my hands. I'm guided into certain areas. It's what it feels like is like, it's just, I relax my whole body. And then it's like, if someone had a magnet here, they were like, boom, here. Or if I say, show me the person in the group that is holding the most pain right now, it's like, and then I'm on the person and I'm in their energy field. And then from there, I'm guided into that energy field. So it's literally, it's pretty cool. I didn't start this way. I just want to be clear. I was seeing darkness and I was like, what, like just darkness. Okay. And then all of a sudden at some point, as I kept healing myself, this opened. So what it feels like, it's cool. It's like, all of a sudden I'm like, all right, move my arm here or like where it needs to go. And then my arm will just fly up and I'm not moving it. Same with my head. You'll see my face twitch. That's a language for me. It's literally I'm getting communicated with, and it's a yes or a no or a maybe or do this, or it's really fascinating. So the best way I can describe it is like a magnet is pulling me in certain areas, and I am not like I can when I call it partial trance because I can stop it, but if I'm just sitting here, my head will just go, and I'm not controlling it. So magnet, I think that's the best way to describe it. That helps.
Yeah, there was a question, a follow-up question to that, and then I'm going to jump back to an earlier question. What was it like the first time you felt that magnetic pull?
Yeah.
Did you understand that?
Yeah, I had no idea what was happening. It was really interesting. This has been a really interesting experience for me because it's been really solitary. Yeah, if anyone knows astrology, 12th house, that's like the solitude house, and it's like the inward journey. So I was basically sitting at my parents' house and I was doing my own self-healing, and I was kind of like, hey, universe, like, when's this gonna get better? Or can I not feel that? And then all of a sudden it was like, and my head was like moving. I was like, oh my God, something is happening. And then and then from that point forward, I was like, all right, I need to understand. So then I start questioning, well, if this is a yes, I'd like you to move my head again. Yes, okay, great. Show me what no is like. And then I got no. I said, show me what maybe is like. And from that point forward, I just started understanding what this language was. I mean, God, I feel like right now I'm like, it's just kind of wild. And so it just started happening. It wasn't scary. I would say that I'm not a person that's living in a fear space with this. I know that some people like trance is scary. It's really not. You're in full control of yourself, and I've never had a frightening experience at all. Yeah, I knew where it was coming from. It was coming from a place that felt correct in my heart. You can identify that as you choose. So yeah, it was wild though. And then from that point forward, that's when my mediumship abilities really started getting going, because I started having a language. But it took years for me. I know some people are born with this. I was not. I came into this very like physical world, like that was it. And then through the trauma I went through of illness, that opened. But some people, like many of you probably in this group, have, you could feel this, or you see animals and whatnot from birth. It's kind of amazing. But yeah, the head moving was pretty wild. Then the hand moving, then moving my body, that was pretty cool. I don't know, I think it's pretty interesting.
Amanda, Marina asked, did you see any animals during this session? And if so, what animals?
I did not see any animals during this session. I literally was guided to pretty specifically two people in this side. So I know it's probably coming in the opposite side. Really specifically, I was guided into the head of one person, told to cut open the head, pull something out and put in energy. And I was guided into like the heart area of another person who was, it felt like just sadness, which is like locked. And I specifically asked for this because collective energy, like one person heals, everybody heals. So that energy got moved through the group. It was kind of interesting. Yeah, so no animals in this session. I also need, my sessions are normally hour long, so it gives me more time to go in and like really get in there. It's just, sorry, that you know what I mean. Not like just so I can like, it was more specific than a 12-minute experience, but not that it can't be as potent, because it can. So.
So Sarah asked another follow-up question. Do you experience trance during sleep?
I've had extremely vivid dream spaces and states. So I would say no to trance during sleep, but definitely other spaces of consciousness. We can call it lucid dreaming or something of that sort. Visitations from people, like it's an experience, because you sleep and then you drop into different spaces of consciousness. So I mean, you have control. That's the thing that I hope everyone understands. When you're doing trance, you're not out of control. The only time that I take that back, even when you go into full trance and you really should have a person with you, you still have the ability to enter back into your body. You're just taking a back seat to a spirit. I don't operate that way. I enjoy partial trance. That's what I do, and that's what's effective. Because ultimately for me, it's important to heal the person and to be guided to heal the person. That's kind of why I'm doing this. I don't need to have, spirit walking me around, taking me to the grocery store or whatever. You can do it. I just don't see the necessarily the point, unless they're coming through for a healing purpose. Because ultimately this is what it's about. It's about healing. Mediums, medical intuitives are not circus acts. They are clinicians, spiritual clinicians, I like to call them. So,
Amanda, there's another question from one of our attendees tonight, asking, is it normal that I felt like my energy field was almost being massaged in a calming way during the session?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. A couple of things. One is that I can feel exactly like that. Sometimes people feel extra hands on them. Like it's just, I had a client today, she was like, hands were all over me. You're being healed by different, insert word that you feel comfortable with, go with light beings if that works. You choose what makes you feel cozy. But yeah, yes, waves of peace, waves of calm. That is exactly what this is. And I will also say that if someone was to feel like discomfort somewhere, that's also normal. That means that something is being healed in that area. If you feel like a ping of like, what was that? It means the energy needed to go there because something was out of balance and need to be aligned, healed, and whatnot. This session was specifically for creative blocks. That was the intention I held. Also with the knowledge that it would go exactly where it needs to go in your body, mind, and soul throughout all of time for your highest and best. So, I just want to be clear, because sometimes, even with, I'm going to say that sometimes people hold the crystal and they're like, this one sucks. I feel this. If you're empathic, you might feel it in like your rib cage and be like, ow, that's good. I see that as good. That means the thing is working. It's trying to heal you, but it doesn't always feel like, roses and cupcakes, which is fine. Not that roses and cupcakes really feel like anything, but you know what I mean. So yeah, does that help?
Yeah, definitely. No, and I can concur with everything you're saying today. Julie asks, is yours generally an in-person practice, or do you have an online presence with other group sessions?
I mean, I do both distance and in-person sessions. Since the COVID experience has occurred, I've been doing a ton of distance sessions. It's energy, whether I have my hands physically on you, or I'm in the room with you and my hands are above you, or I'm in my room sending energy. It's really all the same. It's effective. So primarily because of the COVID experience, I'm doing a lot of distance sessions, and programs with clients. So I haven't done more group experiences. This is actually like the first group experience that I've done, which I'm enjoying. Again, thank you all for being here. So yeah, did I answer your question?
Yeah, and I did an online session, well, online, not offline, remote session
Yeah, we did that.
with Amanda, and I remember the first time we did that. So we weren't in person, and I wasn't ready yet. I was late, getting the, finding my quiet place and everything. And Amanda started the session at the time that we had decided to start it, and I remember feeling this unexplained warm feeling. That's the only way I can describe it. I'm a very rational kind of person, and I need things explained. And I couldn't explain that at all. But she had started, and I wasn't ready, and the session started whether I was ready or not.
Yeah.
So I thought
this
that
was me
being
like, Jonathan, this is real, and you're like, oh my God, I felt it. Yeah.
There was another question from Tia. Are you saying that spirits will come to tell us where we are hurting and need healing? So I guess
yeah, I mean, sometimes it's really, again, it's about the person and what they need at that exact time. Like I've been in sessions, usually if there's a space you're hurting, I will see it. I will be guided how to heal it. And sometimes a message will come through, depending on what the person needs, or if there's I was in a session today and there were 2 points where there was a specific sentence that needed to be said to this person. It's really fascinating. There are keys to your healing. And I was with a client, saw something, mentioned it in our counseling session, post session, because I do programs, and she was like, oh my God. And that was a key that helped her unlock a tremendous amount of suffering that she was holding. She was like, I totally forgot, I didn't know. And then from that point forward, she worked towards healing it, and a lot of pain went away, tremendous amounts. So it's not when I go into a session, I just want to be clear. Yes, while your past loved one can show up, that's not usually what happens in my sessions. It's not your whoever you love that you've lost or has crossed is going to come by and be like, hey, that can happen. But usually it's more about healing you in the mind, body, soul space, and with messages that you need to bring into your psyche, your being, your awareness for healing. I'm trying to, I don't know if that was clear, but I hope it was. And if not, I'll try to clarify again.
Absolutely. That was clear to me. And, we're just running up toward the hour about now. So I don't know if anyone has one last question or anything, but I feel like we've really gotten deep into the subject. So, Amanda, I really want to thank you so much for this. I know, just speaking personally, this has been a very calming experience, and I can tell from the comments and from Laura's, experience that she spoke about earlier, and everyone's questions, clearly there's a positive group dynamic going on here, and it's wonderful. And Julie had one last comment I'm just going to read. I'm hearing you're saying that's not just medical, you can see hurting in people's hearts and minds. And I think that's a great way to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can see into the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body, and then so I just get oftentimes brought into 11 light bodies of consciousness. So it's, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that the source of your, we'll just say knee pain is really not necessarily like, yeah, you might have hit it on something, but there's a pathway to that. Like the source of, I speak of this just to be clear, from like going through extreme illness. I healed myself by way of, I want to be clear, I believe in Western medication, I believe in integrative healing, but I also believe that spiritual healing is a component in this. Until I used spiritual healing as the third component, I was like at a standstill. And then all of a sudden this happened and opened. So yeah, there's usually something underneath the pain, the suffering, the illness, the thing that we're carrying. And again, it can be in this incarnation or a past. Sometimes people don't know what they've brought in. They don't know what they're carrying, and that's totally fine and actually quite normal. I know that might go beyond the egoic mind that we all want to cling to something, but like sometimes we just have stuff and we're like, we don't know. And, you know, but it can be healed. Nothing can't be healed. I've only been in 2 sessions where I knew the person was going to pass, and they were being prepped to do that. But that's really the only time. Everything else can be healed. It's just a matter of if the person wants to work to do that. And I always say, until we are, Buddha, you're going to be working. This is, round the clock work. Like you can do any type of, you can work with any practitioner, but you got to keep doing the work even past that point, or while you're in that space, and then you heal and you go on to the next, and you just work to continuously better yourself until you reach that space where, you're under the tree and it can happen. But does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you, Amanda. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And thank you everyone for joining us today. Do we have any closing remarks from Sarah? Yes.
Yep. Yeah. I'll take the baton. Amanda, thank you so very much for this evening's bountiful information session, but also guided kind of introduction for some into this world of medical intuition. So really appreciate your time tonight. And for all those that attended, thank you very much for giving your full attention during this time, and really hopefully, taking away some practices and learnings to carry with you once we sign off from tonight. So just some kind of points of information for all of you to be aware of. This is part of a mental health series that the GMS East Coast Committee has been putting on. So tonight, of course, with Amanda Zackem, and they're in the chat, Levi did enter a couple rows up now, the social media and website information if you would like to check out Amanda's practice further. So please go ahead and check out North Node Holistic on the web. And the next session as part of our series is in about a month. It's on April 15, and it's with Joe Cara, who will be leading us through chair stretching. So it'll be more of a physical experience, and learning how to combat all of the sitting that we've been doing for the past year, and kind of just learn to just stretch and know when we need to do that. So hopefully we'll equip you with all forms of healing powers. And of course, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, there's the GMS Awards coming up, which is on April 11th. So Sunday, April 11th, we'll be honoring Quincy Jones, as well as Maureen Crow with the Legacy Award, and that's on Sunday, April 11. For those of you that are members, friend of the Guild, or nominees, your discount code will be sent to you via email. And for everyone else, please go ahead and check out the website, the Guild of Music Supervisor website, and the rest of the information to sign up for tickets will be there. But yeah, so that's all. That's all the information to provide to cap this hour off. But thank you again, Amanda, for your time, and
Thank you.
Leave the session today with a lightness amongst all of us. So take care, everybody, and have a great rest of the day wherever you are.